So this is Engineering Statistics and Linear Algebra 18 EC 44. We are in the module 4 and lecture 5, and which corresponds to the linear independence, spanning, basis and dimension. So we cannot cover all the 4 topics in a single period. So therefore, we will try to cover only the linear independence and the spanning today. So till now, we just tried to solve the what you call equations which are Ax equal to 0 first, which will correspond to which will give us the null matrix, as well as the Ax equal to b, which will give us the combination of x, the complete solution, and that complete solution will be equal to the particular solution and the special solution, and special solution straight away corresponds to the null matrix. Special solution will give null matrix, or null matrix in turn will give the special solution. So special solution is like general solution in the case of the differential equation. So in the differential equations, we had particular solution and general solution. Here we have particular solution and the special solution. Special solution straight away corresponds to the null matrix. That's what we have seen, and we have seen a problem about how we can do the solution for the same. Right? So we have seen how we can solve that in the last class. Okay. So now let us consider what this linear independence is. Before going to the definition for linear independence, we should try to remember that when we say the rank of a matrix, then it will straight away correspond to the number of pivots found after the Gauss elimination process. Okay, when we do the LRU, right? When we do the LRU or Gauss elimination process, then we will get the pivots, and the number of pivots will be equal to the rank of the matrix. Equivalently, it just means that the final matrix U has non-zero rows. So the echelon matrix has R non-zero rows, okay, where R is the rank of the matrix, right? So if we say that we have a M cross N matrix, right, M rows and N columns, M minus R rows will be 0 rows. M minus R rows will be 0 rows. For our example, whatever we have taken, we have seen that we had a 3 by 4 matrix, 3 rows and 4 columns, out of which we have R equal to 2. So that means the rank of that matrix was 2, and one of the rows, that is 3 minus 2 is equal to 1 of the rows is 0, and rest of the 2 rows will be non-zeros. So the rank counts the number of, now here linearly independent, we are writing Guineally independent, now genuinely independent, or might be linearly independent rows in a matrix A. So straight away it is the rank which counts the number of independent rows in a matrix A. Now we come to the definition. Okay. Now suppose we consider that C1, C2, C3 and all that are constants, and V1, V2, V3 are vectors, right? Then if we have C1 into V1 plus C2 into V2 plus C3 into V3 plus ... Ck into Vk equal to 0. And this happens only when C1, all these C's, that is C1 equal to C2 equal to C2 equal to C3 equal to Ck is equal to 0, then the vectors V1, V2, V3, V4, Vk are linearly independent. So C1, C2, C3 are constants, V1, V2, V3 are vectors, and if we have C1, V1 plus C2, V2 plus C3, V3 plus ... Ck, Vk equal to 0, only when all the constants are zeros, then we say that it is linearly independent. Okay, so otherwise they will be considered as linearly dependent. So in that case, if any of the C's are non-zero and still we are able to get a value of 0 in the C1 V1 plus C2 V2 plus Ck Vk, then it will be linearly dependent. And in that case, one of the vector is a combination of the other. Okay, one of the vector, that is, whatever we have v1, v2, vk, one of those vectors will be a combination of the other. Okay. Now, geometrically speaking, what it means is two vectors are dependent if they lie on the same line. That means same line will correspond to r to the power 1. Okay, r to the power 1 is a single line. Okay, a dimension which is single one. R1 is just a dimension, right? Single line, one dimension only. One there, R1 in R1 will be the dimension. So 1D, R1 means 1D. So 1D means only line. So two vectors are dependent if they lie on the same line. Three vectors are dependent if they lie in the same plane, and the same plane will correspond to r squared. R squared will be in r squared. The 2 which is there corresponds to 2D. Okay, so r square is corresponding to 2D. Similarly, you can say four vectors are always linearly dependent in r cube. Okay, so we'll have to just remember that r cube is a cubic type of structure. Okay, three-dimensional structure. Similarly, we can go on extending it like that. But the third statement here says three vectors are linearly independent if any two not in the same line. The third statement here is three vectors are linearly independent if any two not in the same line and not in the same plane. Not in the same line and not in the same plane. Okay, so that will be the case over here, right? So you can keep on extending this. Five vectors are always linearly dependent in r to the power 4. Okay, one less here. If this is 4 and this is 3, one less. This is 3 vectors and r squared, it will be one less. 2 vectors and r1, okay, same line, right? Then it will be the case of linearly dependence. Now let us take examples for the linear independent. If v1 is equal to a 0 vector, then the set is linearly dependent. If v1 is equal to, if any one of the vectors, v1 to vk rather, if any one of the vectors v1 to vk is 0 vector, then the set is linearly dependent, right? The reason is that because if we try to choose the corresponding, if we say that, the corresponding constant, whichever vector is 0, if the corresponding constant is a non-zero quantity, if the vector is 0, say vk is 0, then if ck is considered a non-zero quantity, then ck-vk will not be a value which is 0. Okay, so because we may choose C1 is as a non-zero value and all other CIs as 0, then this is a non-trivial combination that produces 0. Okay, this is a non-trivial combination that produces 0. So therefore, it will be linearly independent. So if any one of the vectors is a 0 vector, then the set of equations will be linearly dependent. So whenever we have a 0 vector, right, in the v1 to vk, then they cannot be the linearly independent vectors. They should be linearly dependent. Okay, next example which we are considering over here is a is equal to the same example which we started, 1 3 3 2 2 6 6 9 5 -1 -3 3 0. Now see here, this multiplied by 3 is equal to this. If I multiply this row, this column by 3, 3 into 1 will give me 3, 3 into 2 will give me 6, 3 into -1 will give me -3, right? So in that case, we can see that one is a multiple of the other, right? So the columns of the matrix are linearly dependent because second column is a multiple of the first column. Second column is 3 times the first, okay? Multiple just means 3 times the first, right? So therefore, it will not be the case, right? You will not have the, what you call, linear independence. They will be linearly dependent because we have one column as multiple of the second one. So the combination of the columns with weights -3, 1, 0, 0 gives a column of zeros. So if we have a combination of columns with weights C1, C2, C3, C4, if we consider as -3, 1, 0, 0, okay, C1, C2, C3, C4, if we consider as -3, 1, 0, 0, this will give us a, combination correspond to 0. So the combination of columns over here gives a column of zeros. Okay, if I multiply that whole thing with, -3, 1, 0, 0, I am going to get a value 0. Okay, so in general, one can say that what this means is that if C1 is this, and C2 is this, and C3 is this, and C4 is this, I can just multiply with each one of this. This is a V1, this is V2, this is V3, and this is V4. Okay, each one of this here can be considered as V1 to V4, and each one of this can be considered as C1 to C4, and then we can try to apply this rule over here. C1 V1 plus C2 V2 plus C3 V3 plus C4 V4. Definitely that will turn out to be 0 for these values, of C and values of V's. V's correspond to A. So the rows are also linearly dependent since row 3, third row is 2 times the row 2. You multiply 2 with this minus 5 times the row 1. Okay, 2 times the row 2 minus 5 times the row 1 will give us the third row. So that just means 2 into 2 minus 5 into 1 will give me -1. 2 into 6, 12 minus 5 into 3 will give us -3. 2 into 9 minus 5 into 3 will give us the value 3. Okay, 2 into 5 minus 5 into 2 will give us a value 0. Okay, if you multiply 2 with this and a 5 with this and subtract 1 from the other, you are going to get this value. Okay, 2 times the row 2 minus the 5 times the row 1 is going to give us a value which is 0. Okay, hence we say that it is linearly dependent set of equations. Okay, then we come to this example 3, the column of the triangular matrix. If we have a triangular matrix, then we will have linearly independent vectors. Column of triangular matrix will have linearly independent vectors. So for example, we are taking here the the example of a triangular matrix. Okay, this is a upper triangular matrix. Similarly, you can have a lower triangular matrix. Please remember that this is a upper triangular matrix. Now let us try to look for a combination of columns that makes 0. That means we'll try to write AX equal to 0 or AC equal to 0. One and the same. In place of X, we are writing C, where C will be C1, C2, C3. Okay, so A is this multiplied by a column vector which is C1, C2, C3 is equal to a column vector which is 0, 0, 0. So you expand it, then you'll get the C1 into this column, C2 into this column, C3 into this column. Okay, you can just straight away write this as A into C1, C2, C3 is equal to the 0, 0, 0. Right, that is what we are telling here, and that is equal to C1 into the column 1, C2 into the column 2, C3 into the column 3 is equal to 0, 0, 0. Now in this case, you can see very clearly the third equation or last equation over here, last or third equation over here will give us C1 into 0 plus C2 into 0 plus C3 into 2 is equal to 0. Okay, C1 into 0 will be 0, C2 into 0 will be 0, then we have C3 into 2, that is equal to 0. So 2C3 is equal to 0 is going to give us C3 equal to 0. right? And then the second equation over here, right? The second equation over here, C1 into 0 plus C1 into 0 will be 0, C2 into 1 will be C2, 5 C2 into 5 will be 5C3 equal to 0. That is C2 plus 5C3 is equal to 0. And already we have got C3 equal to 0. So therefore, C2 plus 0 is equal to 0 will give us C2 equal to 0. Similarly, the first equation 3C1 plus 4C2 plus 2C3 is equal to 0. And we have found that C3 and C2 are both zeros. Hence, we can get, that C1 into 3 plus 0 is equal to 0, and that will give us C1 is equal to 0. So substituting the above two values into the first equation gets us the value C1 equal to 0. So thus, this will be true only when C1 equal to C2 equal to C3 is equal to 0. Okay. So the combination C1 equal to C2 into C3 is equal to 0 is the only one which is going to give us the value 0. So therefore, we can say this itself, we know that if Ax is equal to 0, the values of x are going to give us the null space. Okay. If Ax is equal to 0, then the values of x will give us the null space. If AC is equal to 0, and that's what we are going to get over here, we are writing it out here. If AC is equal to 0, the values of C corresponding to that will give us the null space. Now the values of C are C1 equal to C2 equal to C3 equal to 0. Therefore, the null space here contains the 0 vector C1 equal to C2 equal to C3 equal to 0. Okay. The null space contains a vector. Don't confuse this with V1, V2, V3. V1, V2, V3 are vectors corresponding to A, right? A vector which corresponds to C1, C2, C3, C4 is going to get us a 0 vector. That just means that the column of A are independent exactly when NA is equal to a 0 vector. So what does it mean? If we find that the null space is a 0 vector, then all the columns of the matrix A are independent, linearly independent. Okay. If we find that the null space vector contains a 0 vector, then the columns of A are linearly independent. Similarly, we can apply the same reasoning for rows of A, which are also independent. Okay, so at that time we can write C1 into 3, 4, 2, the first row, C2 into the first row 0, 1, 5 in second row, then C plus C3 into the third row, which is 0, 0, 2, and this will give us a value 0, 0, 0. Okay, this should give a value 0, 0, 0, and from this you can get the first component as 3C1 plus 0C2 plus 0C3 is equal to 0, and that will give us 3C1 equal to 0, and that will be C1 equal to 0. Second equation will be 4C1 plus 1C2 plus 0C3 is equal to 0. So 0C3 is already 0, and we had already got C1 is equal to 0. So therefore we are going to get 1C2 is equal to 0, and that will give us C2 is equal to 0. Similarly, and finally, you can get C1 into 2 plus C2 into 5 plus C3 into 2 is equal to 0. Already C1 and C2 are zeros here, so therefore C3 will be 0. Okay, so thus we can solve this. Now, this is a very important statement here. The R non-zero rows of an echelon matrix U and a reduced, row echelon matrix R are linearly independent. The R non-zero rows, please remember this, not all rows, okay? R non-zero rows of an echelon matrix U and a reduced matrix R are linearly independent. So are the R columns that contain the pivots. So are the R columns that contain. So whichever columns contains the pivots, now that will correspond to the linearly independent vectors. Okay, linearly. So that means we can just reduce a matrix to a U matrix or a R matrix and find out which of those equation, which of those vectors in the matrix are linearly independent and which are dependent, whether there are any dependent, okay, so to say, vectors at all. Okay, if we write a number of vectors and join them to form a matrix A, right, and then we try to find the echelon matrix U or the reduced row echelon matrix R or F as we call, and we try to find, then we can find that the R non-zero rows will be linearly independent, or R columns that contain the pivots will be linearly independent. Others will be dependent upon these linearly independent vectors. Okay, if we say that the matrix is what you call a square matrix, if it's a square matrix, then if the what you call if it is n cross n, and if the R value is equal to n itself, then all those vectors, vectors within the you can say rows or columns which will form the vectors will be linearly independent. Okay, none of them will be dependent on the others, right? Okay, so let us take another example over here, which is a identity matrix, n by n identity matrix. Okay, so where identity matrix is, principal diagonal elements are all ones, all others are zeros, except for the principal diagonal elements which are ones, all others are zeros. That will give us the identity matrix. That will give us the identity matrix, right? So these columns, again, I can write here, what you call this multiplied by C, that is C1, C2, C3, Cn is equal to 0. So this I can be considered as A, and then we can write, C1, C2, C3, C4, Cn is equal to 0. And if I multiply each of the row with the column and get the solve that equation, which consider I as A, and then we write, AC is equal to 0. Try to find out the values of C1, C2, C3. You'll definitely be going to get a value 0. Okay, C1 equal to C2 equal to C3 equal to 0. So that means, all the columns of this matrix are linearly independent. All the rows of this matrix also are linearly independent. So these columns E1 to E4 represent unit vectors in the coordinate directions in R4. Okay, so this matrix represents unit vectors in the coordinate directions in R4. That is E1 is equal to 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. E2 is equal to 0, 1, 0, 0. E3 is equal to 0, 0, 1, 0. E4 is equal to 0, 0, 0, 1. So we are just considering here n by n, but later taking example corresponding to 4 by 4 only. Okay, this is a 4 by 4 only. This is n by n, and this is 4 by 4. If you consider 4 by 4, E1 will be 1, 0, 0, 0. E2 will be 0, 1, 0, 0. E3 will be 0, 0, 1, 0. E4 will be 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. And each one of this is a unit vector in the coordinate direction in R4. This is R to the power 4, not 4 over here. Okay, so many set of 4 vectors in R4 may be independent, but this might be the safest. Okay, we can have many different 4 vectors which are linearly independent, but the safest ones are the E's. Okay, right? Unit vectors are the safest ones, which will definitely we are sure that they will be linearly independent. Okay, so how do we check the linear independence? So what is the way to check linear independence is what we have written over here. So is there any doubt till now? So how do we find that a set of vectors v1 and to v1 to vn are independent? Okay, put them in the column of A. We just put them in the column of A. Then solve the system of equations AC equal to 0. The vectors are dependent if there is a solution other than C equal to 0. Okay, if the vectors are dependent if there is a solution other than C equal to 0. What is that about? We have to find again the U or R, either way. Okay, first we need to find U and then only R. So U is sufficient, right? So After finding R, after finding U, you can find the small value R, that is rank, right? So how many pivots are there? How many free, what you call, variables are there? You can try to find out. Okay. So if there are no, if there are, so to say, the rank is equal to n itself. If no free variables, okay, if no free variables are there, then it will just correspond to linearly independent. If you don't have any free variables, then it will correspond to linearly independent. If no free variables, there is no null space except C equal to 0, and the vectors are independent. Okay, so the condition for linear independence is rank should be equal to the value of the number of columns, no free variables. Okay, if no free variables, if rank R is less than n, at least one free variable is non-zero. Okay, then the columns are dependent. So what do? Whatever vectors we have, we arrange them in the columns. Okay, V1 first we write, and the V2, and then that will form A, and then write the AC equal to 1, or rather reduce the A matrix to U matrix and try to find out whether there are any free variables. If there are no free variables, then it is linearly independent. If there are free variables, then there is linear dependency. Okay, then we'll come to the special case. Let the n vectors have m components so that A is a m by n matrix. Okay, if let n vectors have m components so that A is a m by n matrix. And suppose that n is greater than m. N is greater than m means number of columns are more than the number of rows. Okay, there are too many columns to be independent. So straight away one can say that if the number of vectors, if the number of vectors is greater than the dimensions within that vector, okay, the number of rows within that vector, okay, then naturally it will be dependent. So if n is greater than m, we need not even try to do all this. If n is greater than m, that is the number of columns is greater than the number of rows, definitely one of the rows will be, what you call, corresponding to the free variable. Okay, one of the columns will correspond to a free variable. Sorry, one of the columns will be corresponding to a free variable, and hence, so because in a n cross m, or rather m cross n matrix, where we have m cross n matrix where we have m rows and n columns, right? The maximum possible, what you call, if n is greater than m, then maximum possible value of R is equal to m only, not n. Okay, maximum possible value of R. So R equal to m will be the maximum possible value of the rank. Rank will be naturally maximum will be m, and n minus 1 and n minus m will be at least free variables. At least the number of free variables will be n minus m, and hence we will get the dependent, so to say, rows. Okay, so there are too many columns to be independent. If n is greater than m, we have too many columns to be independent. So one of the columns will be definitely dependent on the others. Okay, there cannot be n pivots. You can have maximum m pivots, right? Since there are not enough rows to hold them, right? The rank will be less than n. The rank will be less than n. So R will be less than n. Okay, because R is less than or equal to m in general, and if we have n greater than m, then definitely we will have the number of what you call the dependent only, right? So every system AC equal to 0 with more unknowns than equations has a solution C not equal to 0. Every system AC equal to 0 with more unknowns than equations has a solution C not equal to 0. So if you write a set of equations, right? If you try to write a set of equations and there you have more unknowns, okay? Unknowns will straight away here correspond to x1, x2, x3, x4, or might be C1, C2, C3, C4, right? In this case, C1, C2, C3, C4, and the number of equations are lesser than them. Then the equation has a solution where C is not equal to 0. So the set of n vectors in Rm must be linearly dependent if n is greater than m. If n is greater than m, if we have set of n vectors and each of the vector is in Rm, that means the dimension of the vector is, m. This m gives us the dimension in each of the vector, right? This is the number of vectors themselves, which are put in column. N vectors are put in columns of A, and Rm will be the dimension of each of those vectors there, v1, v2, v3, v4, whatever, right? So a set of n vectors in Rm must be linearly dependent if n is greater than m. So if the number of columns is greater than the number of rows, when we write the vectors, join all the vectors in the form of a matrix, columns of a matrix. We write the vectors in the column form of a matrix, right? Then under that condition, if n is greater than m, then they will be linearly dependent. So this is more important. Put them in the column of A and think about this. Put them in the column of A. All the vectors are put in the column of A, and then if we have a set of n vectors in Rm, then they must be linearly dependent if n is greater than m. Okay, so once we put them in the form of column, if n is greater than m, number of columns is greater than number of rows, then it will be the case where we will have the what you call linearly dependence. Okay, so here we have, these three columns in R2 cannot be independent, because if you try to solve this A, convert it into U, you will get this, right? So naturally, because you have here, three, what you call, so to say, columns and two rows, it cannot be linearly independent. So out of this, two will be independent and one will be dependent. Okay, to find the combination of columns producing 0, we solve AC is equal to 0 and we will get this. So if we give the value 1 to the free variable 3, so you have here the pivot variable as